Welcome everyone and thank you so much for joining in. Yes, this is bad for Bitcoin. Why? Because we have broken the key line of support which was supposed to hold the price around 16,500, and now the trend is clearly showing this corrective movement and also a free fall type of scenario. But if you have watched my video from yesterday, I showed you guys exactly what could be unfolding if the price fails to close the daily above this 16,600 and even hold the support on 16,500 range. I showed you this yellow line which was around 16,600 resistance must be flipped into support. Only after flipping this resistance we are expecting the price of Bitcoin to show this impulsive movement. But if this resistance remain and price fails to break above it, then please be careful because we could be re-entering inside the descending broadening wedge and also expect this free fall type of movement. And this is exactly what we are witnessing right now in price action of Bitcoin. Not just only descending broadening wedge, even this descending channel scenario is playing out, and this is also looking very bad for Bitcoin because yesterday I showed you guys in a bigger frame, right, the price of Bitcoin was forming this descending channel where we broke the upper line and even flipped that into support. But I showed you guys in the medium short term we are also forming this bull flag type of formation. But for this bull flag to play out and for this trend continuation to happen here like this, I showed you guys before we see this impulsive movement playing out like this, we have to overcome the immediate short-term resistance which we had around 16,600 range. But if we fail to break above that key line, then please be careful. We could be re-entering inside this descending channel and we could also see a free fall type of movement, and this is also what we are witnessing right now here in price action of Bitcoin. So will the trend continue towards this lower line, also forming another new low? Yes, lower highs, lower lows continuation pattern type of movement before showing another rally here like this, or what to expect next. So before we jump into this in a smaller time frame first, let's have a quick look at this in a bigger time frame, because in a weekly time frame the price of Bitcoin is doing pretty much like what we talked on my previous videos, because we were expecting the price of Bitcoin, since it has already broken the key line of support from this descending triangle. In a downtrend, descending triangle is considered as a bearish scenario. We had a very similar movement also here from 2017 2019. You can see during downtrend the price was forming a descending triangle. Once the support got broken, we had this free fall type of movement, and this is exactly what we also predicted. I mean, since the price has already broken the key line of support from the descending triangle which was formed during a downtrend, now this could be another free fall type of movement between 10 to 12,000 before the price finds bottom and actually show this new accumulation phase. And after accumulation, after months, even year of accumulation, we could be starting a new market phase, just like as shown here in an example. So according to this bigger time frame as well, we have to be careful because the price of Bitcoin might not have bottomed yet. So please guys, do not over leverage yourself at this current stage. And that was also one reason why I said to you guys, I am going to wait until the price closes above 17,000 before placing any long trades. And now you can see the reason why, because the price was still struggling to break the key line of resistance. So that's why we were very skeptical. And not just only this guys, not just only this, even if we look at this here in a smaller time frame. But before we start talking about this rising wedge, please guys, if you haven't destroyed that like button, then do it right now. But if you want to support me further, then a comment would be much appreciated, because you know a like and a comment is going to boost the algorithm of the channel and also boost the motivation for me to create content like this in a daily basis. So if you look at this price formation in an hourly time frame, in the past price action we found out when the price of Bitcoin was forming this rising wedge, what happened once we lost the support? We started showing this corrective movement, but this corrective movement was quite tricky. We even had some fake outs, but at the end the price still continued this downtrend. So what I'm trying to show you here, in our case, the current scenario, the price was also forming this rising wedge where we broke the support, and after that we started consolidating. And now if we follow this formation what unfolded here in past price action, this exact could be playing out here in the immediate short term as well. So that's why guys, that's why we have to be extremely careful, because if this exact scenario is going to play out just like here from the past price action, after breaking the support from this rising wedge, the lower line, right, then you can see the price of Bitcoin could be heading towards this 15,000 and could go even lower, and that will create another lower low for Bitcoin, which I just showed you with the previous example, right? The price of Bitcoin could be forming another lower low before we see any sort of a relief rally, before we see any sort of a range bound type of movement. Not just only this, guys, not just only this, even if we look at this one scenario here. So in an hourly time frame, the price of Bitcoin was forming another symmetrical triangle type of formation. Symmetrical triangle is actually considered bullish when we break the upper line and bearish when we break the lower line. But in our case, we had this fake out. Price broke the upper line resistance, but it failed to break the key line of resistance between 16,600, and also another free fall happened in price action of Bitcoin. So according to this symmetrical triangle, if the price is going to continue this downtrend, then I think for the medium short term, the price of Bitcoin have approached towards the target. You can see we came around this target line 16,000 and also saw this relief rally. So what I'm actually expecting for the medium short term is some range bound, right? Range bound like this, range bound, before we again show some corrective movement. I mean, price could show a movement here in this manner, a very similar movement, some range bound, price trying to remain above 16,000, right? Couple of days of consolidation, and then again dropping here towards this 15 and even around 14,000 range. Why am I saying you that? Because if you look at this in a daily time frame, you can see according to this CPI indicator for this November month, the price looks like it could be retesting this line one more time. I mean, the price in the past price action has always got attracted towards this S3 line once it failed to break above S2 line. But in our case, you can see the price didn't even have this opportunity to test the resistance from this S2 line. We came around this middle line and then started showing this corrective movement. So what I want the price of Bitcoin to do, if it wants to turn this scenario into a complete bullish scenario, we want the price to remain above 16,000 in the medium short term. Because if we do get lucky, right, and price does remain above 16,000, then we can also be forming another inverse head and shoulder like this. So if the bulls defends this support around 16,000, then we want this 16,500 to be broken. I mean, the neckline from this inverse head and shoulder to be broken and flipped into support. Because if we do that, then even though this is considered as a bearish scenario, right, for the medium short term, the price of Bitcoin could be showing this bearishness. But for the coming days, we could be preparing ourselves for this inverse head and shoulder, which will bring the price again above 17,000 once we flip the 16,600, 16,500 into proper support, the neckline area. So let's hope for the best. Let's hope the price holds this support which we have around the 16,000 for the medium short term, because we know if this 16,000 support gets broken, then we have to be extremely careful, because the price could be heading towards this new low, and that will bring the price around 14,000. We don't want that to happen. So please keep a close eye around this 16,000 here for the medium short term, and 16,500, 16,600 for the coming days. Because if the bulls are going to fight to regain its strength over 16,500, 600 one more time, then we are still expecting the next rally here to continue towards the CPI line. Because today it's 28th of November, we only have 3 more days until we get a new CPI place for the December month. So if this trend is going to remain around that area, then the next month CPI is going to be somewhere between 17,000. So in that case, we could be seeing a movement here like this, price getting attracted towards the CPI line before again showing this corrective movement here in this manner. Because we have found out in a bigger picture, the price of Bitcoin is still showing this weakness and also expected to continue the rally towards this 10 to 12,000 between that range before finding bottom, before consolidating, and also showing this new marker phase. So please do not overleverage yourself and use proper risk management strategies. So these are some of the quick updates that I wanted to share with you in today's video. If you enjoyed my work, then please destroy that like button, and for those individuals watching this for the first time, hit the subscribe button and the bell. Now by saying this, I'm signing out. My name is Anup. Bye bye guys.